Hey guys, Jim here, and I wanted to kind of go off on a little bit of a mild-mannered rant. One of the things that we look forward to as collectors is the day that our new acquisition arrives to us. Or perhaps, maybe you wouldn't actually, you're fortunate enough to have a cutlery store near you that you can pick up. Great knives like this Hinderer. And part of the process of the unveiling, the initial amazement with your new acquisition is quite honestly going to be the packaging. And this is where I feel a lot of makers and manufacturers fall short on the presentation. It's not like we're spending a good amount of money. And I think that we're obviously getting a good product in return for that. And that's the most important thing. At the end of the day, and I want to make this very clear before, you guys start going crazy in the comments. At the end of the day, the money you're spending is for the quality of the product and its usefulness and how it's going to, work out for your life. It's not really all about the packaging. And I get that. I'm not saying that the packaging is the most important thing, but when you're looking at maybe it's taken you a whole year to save up enough money to buy that, let's say it's the Hinderer, and you spent aftermarket secondary prices, $700, $800, $900, $1,000 for an XM18. You want to feel impressed all the way around, not just with the knife itself, because you know that you're going to love the knife. You've been waiting forever to get your hands on it. But before you get to the knife, what you want to see is an impressive packaging. Now, what do I get on and I'll go back to factory price on this because I feel that's only fair. When I go back to a $400 knife, this is what I've been given. A cheap, plain, white cardboard box with a baggie inside. Now, I realize there's a lot of added value to the Ranch's Tactical Peanuts. And don't think I'm going to just brush that aside lightly. But you know what I'm saying. I mean, come on, guys. You're buying a premium product. You're waiting a long time in some cases to get it. How many of you have ordered a knife from a maker, waited a year and a half for them to build it and send it to you, and it gets shipped in a cardboard box? That's ridiculous. And I want to be very clear. I'm not picking on Rick Hinderer. One of my favorite brands, as you guys well know, is Chris Reeve. This was an $800 knife that came in this box. It's just a cardboard box with some stickers on it. Now, he does go the extra mile by giving you a kind of a birth certificate, which is really great for those that are doing collecting. This is a really, really great thing to have. He includes a tool for you so you can take down the knife. I think that's a step up. With this and many others, you're just getting a box and with a baggie inside with your knife inside of that. So how can they step things up? Let's take a look here. Because you're thinking to yourself, well, they've got to go cheap somewhere because I'm getting all premium materials, I'm getting this, and I'm getting that, and getting that. I don't want to spend a whole bunch of money just want to give me a fancy box. This is a $100 knife. Now, it's still cardboard, but they put some thought into it. It's a nice presentation. You get a tool with it, and it's a nice foam cutout. The knife is sitting there presented to you. When you open that package, and imagine if you were given this as a gift. You got a nice magnetic closure, and when you open it, the knife, and actually let me grab the knife, I have it sitting right here. Take the tool out so I don't scratch it up. Let's say here. When I open this box up, I'm being presented with the very thing that I'm excited about. It's not laying in a bag of peanuts underneath another bag when I got to start, taking all kinds of crap apart to get to it. It's a cheap presentation on those others. Now let's take another step up. I have all kinds of stuff going on over here. When you buy a knife from Greg Medford, he's thinking about these things. His primary focus is making a quality knife that will kill terrorists, okay? Or pry your way out of a Humvee, you know, things like that. But he takes the time. He has these dog tags stamped out. He's giving it to you in an otter box. I may never use this box for anything in my life. My knife may go into my I use a Pelican 1500, or into a knife display, and I may never see this thing again until I go to maybe sell the knife. But you know what? When I first opened this up, and I'm like, wow, look at the time they spent putting together nice packaging. You get all the information you need to know about your knife right here. He signs every one. It's a pretty big deal. It makes you feel better about the money that you're spending on your purchase. You feel more confident in where you chose to spend your money. Will Moon. You guys saw this on my first review for my Mark VI. He too gives you a really nice Pelican case. These things cost like $15. And in his, you've got the pick and pluck. So I can actually choose to display both of my Will Moons in here if I wanted to. And then he takes the time to do little things like this. Gives you a sketch of one of his knives. He writes you a handwritten little thank you. Now, I realize he's not selling 10,000 knives a year, but you know what? Neither is anybody else that I'm talking about. We're talking about premium stuff. I'm not talking about production grade knives here where they're going to sell 1 million units. That's when they're going to go cheap. That's when you should see stuff like this. You know, when you buy a Zero Tolerance or a Spyderco, it comes in a cardboard sleeve of sorts. When I got my Rockstead, one of the things that I thought was really cool about this, and it's cheap, folks. This has got to be only pennies more than this. This is balsa wood. How cheap is balsa wood? They're branding it. Boom. That's super quick. There's probably a machine that does that. And you've got the form-fitted foam insert. That cannot cost a lot of money to do. But when that knife is cradled inside of here, and you open it up for the very first time, you've got your product printed sleeve. You open up this box and go, wow. My knife is being cradled. It's being presented to me. So I would say to anyone out there that's looking at becoming a knife maker, think about your packaging. Think about how it's going to be presented the very first time somebody buys a product from you. How is that product being presented? Maybe you're just sending it in a little Velcro case. Now, these Bills cases are nice and they're not cheap. But I would much rather get my knife in a presentation than in a pouch. As beautiful as the pouch may be, this is a really nice pouch, probably like a $25 pouch. The most impressive, and I wish I could have found it, I was looking for it very quickly before I set up, was when I bought my Brian Ty. It is a beautiful wood presentation box with a glass lid with his engraved signature in the wood, and you open it up and there is your knife just sitting there, presented to you. And when it's closed, it makes for a presentation by itself. It's really impressive. And that was on a knife that at the time cost under $600. They were $525, $550, $575, depending on what you did, as far as what options you picked. That's less expensive than this. This was an $800 knife, came in a cardboard box. So it's not always about the cost of the knife, it's not always about how building the cost in. And obviously the packaging is not the most important thing. I want to reiterate that before I close this video. I'm not saying that should be your primary focus. Primary focus is making me a knife that works, that's reliable, that's super sharp. You know, that's all the things that I'm paying for. But I want to have that nice, warm and fuzzy feeling when I open up that UPS box or whatever it's shipped in, and then I see, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, my cool new knife. And it's presented to me when I open it up. I don't have to unvelcro something and fish around and then pull this thing out. That's not the way it should be. Not at that price level. If you're buying a $1,000 knife, I want a presentation that shows me that my $1,000 knife is somehow an elevated level above an $80 Spyderco. I'm not knocking Spyderco. I hope you guys understand that. I'm just talking about one comes in a sleeve of cardboard and the other comes in a sleeve of cardboard. One's $80, one's $1,000. It shows me that the maker is not putting an emphasis on the customer's reaction to their product. And I think that's something that maybe should be thought of a little bit more. So that's my little rant on the subject. I don't know how you guys feel about it. You know, what I do is my knife comes out of my packaging. The packaging goes into a bin that I keep in my home office. And I really don't touch it again until I move or until I sell something or trade something. But there is still an importance when I first receive my new baby and I'm able to open up and go, wow. And think about this. If you were to trade off that knife, let's say the knife that I got in here was my Todd Begg Glimpse. And like I said, that's not a cheap knife. I love the knife. The packaging didn't take away from it, but I would have been so much more, I would have had so much more of an experience when I received that knife and it was in a nice presentation, cradling and showing off my knife as if it were on some sort of pedestal. So think about that too. When you go to trade something that you've got or maybe sell something that you've got, maybe it's not as important to you when you first got your knife, but think about that guy that's expecting the greatest thing in the world. He's giving up something to you that he loves and he cherishes, and he wants something that he's going to love and cherish. And when he receives it and he cuts open his priority mailbox and it's just a bunch of crinkled newspaper and this sitting in there. And again, I'm not picking on the guy who sent me this knife in this pouch. Please don't take this the wrong way. But that person that received it goes, oh, is my knife in there? Oh, there's my knife. Let me pull it out. Hang on. No, you want a nice presentation. Because you know what? At the end of the day, it may not be a gift for somebody else. This is something that you got for you. This is a gift for yourself. So if you're an up-and-coming knife maker and you're watching this, maybe give that a little bit of consideration. Sure, it's going to cost an extra couple of dollars. Sure, it's going to take a little bit more time because you should probably develop or design something that's specific to your brand. But at the end of the day, it's always about branding for you, isn't it? It's always about standing alone and standing head and shoulders above your competition. Whether you view them as competition or as your friends or whatever else, you still want to brand your product and impress people. You're doing that first and foremost with your designs. You're doing it secondly with your quality and your grinds. But let's not forget the power of presentation. That's all I've got to say about that. I'd love to hear your comments down below. I'm sure there'll be quite a few of them and quite colorful. Thanks.